you can do so at the following link. I'm just going to wait to see when it shows up in my YouTube over here. Here it is. Okay, great. So if you want the link to that particular live stream, it is right here on YouTube. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So this is HackerFrogs After School Over the Wire. Not us, that's the CTF game that we're using to learn about web security. And we're doing part 2. So this is the second workshop in our Intro to Web App Hacking course. Let's take a few moments to review the concepts we learned in the previous workshop. So first of all, we learned about directory indexing. Directory indexing is a vulnerability on websites that allows users to see the file contents of web directories, which can lead to sensitive data exposed to arbitrary website visitors. So sometimes the contents of the directory will be open so that anybody will be able to see all the files inside of the directory, and that's generally a bad thing. We also learned about robots.txt. It's a special file included on certain websites that indicate which files on the site can and cannot be indexed by search engines. It can be abused to point malicious users to sensitive parts of the website. So we did a couple of exercises about robots.txt, and we illustrated how we use it to find sensitive information. So we're going to continue with the Natas CTF game at the following URL. So everybody, we're going to be working off of this document, which, let me grab the document real quick. So we're going to be working off of this document right here, and it has all of the links for the exercises we're doing today. So you can find it right here. I'm providing it to everybody in chat right now. So if you go to that link, first of all, I'd like to announce, I have a couple of announcements to make before we get underway. So first of all, next week we're going to be using the Try Hack Me website to do some exercises. So you can sign up for free at the link over here, tryhackme.com. I'll just drop that in the chat for everybody. So it's a very good cybersecurity education website. They have a paid service as well, but we're going to be doing everything on the free side, so you don't have to worry about paying with your hard-earned cash. All right, so another announcement that I'm going to make is that the regular scheduled session for HackerFrogs that happens on Monday is going to be moved over to Tuesday next week, because Monday of next week is Labor Day, which is a statutory holiday, and that means that you should all have a day off, including me, including you. And so we're not going to do our HackerFrog session on Monday the 2nd, which is Labor Day. Instead, we're going to be doing it on Tuesday the 3rd, which is not Labor Day. So just keep that in mind for next week, okay? All right, so we're going to be continuing on with the Natas game on level 4. So this is the URL right here. The best thing to do is to just right-click this link right here, and put this in the new tab. But I have it up over here. It's going to ask you for your username and password as usual. So remember that the username is going to be Natas and then the number of the level. In this case, it's Natas 4. And we can get the password from the GitHub page over here. So the password is right here. You just need to highlight it and copy it. And then we can paste it into the Natas 4 webpage so that we can log in. All right, and then click on sign in. And then we are in. Okay, so everybody, if you're on this page and you've successfully signed in, please type in the chat, I'm in Natas. smiley face. Okay, and if you're having trouble logging in, let us know what trouble you're having, and we'll try to help you out. Okay. So if you're having trouble locating your username and password, you can find it on the GitHub page over here, and it's under the header .ctf links and passwords. So the username is right here, and the password is right here. I suggest copying this because typing it out would be a huge pain in the butt. Okay, so let's go over to the page, and on the Natas page it says access disallowed. You're visiting from blank blank string, while authorized users should come only from this URL right here. So what exactly is this talking about? Let's do a little bit of a presentation talking about some new concepts we're going to be exploring in this level, okay? So, so we're talking about HTTP headers in this level of the NATA-CTF game. So each time a web browser accesses a web page, the browser makes an HTTP request to the server that hosts the page. In each HTTP request, several headers and their values are passed along to the server to ensure that the browser and the server can communicate properly. So this is all happening when you're browsing on your web browser. So here are some examples of HTTP headers and what info they provide to the web server. So over here, we've got a host header. This is the website being contacted. For example, natas4.overthewire.org. We have a user agent header, which is the type of browser that is making the request. For example, Google Chrome or Safari or whatever type of browser you're using. And we have an accept header, the type of data that should be sent in response. For example, */*, which means any type of data. Okay, so please keep in mind that because HTTP headers can be modified by the user before being sent, that means that the values of any HTTP headers could be spoofed, which means falsified, although default web browser behavior doesn't allow this. So the web browser lets you surf and navigate to web pages in a very user-friendly way, but it doesn't necessarily let you send modified requests. So we're talking in this particular level, we're talking about the HTTP refer header, and that's a special type of HTTP header. And this refer header, which is misspelled, you might catch on that this word over here is misspelled, but it's misspelled on purpose. I'm not too sure exactly why it's misspelled on purpose, and it contains the value of a complete or partial address of the web page that is making the request. So basically, this is the information about where the user is coming from before they visit that page. So let's say that you're on google.com and then you navigate over to amazon.com. You might have a HTTP refer header that says google.com when you go visit the amazon.com website. User P says, hi, user P, how are you? Do you need some files? Because we have this document right here that has all the links that we're going to be using today, okay? All right, so let's continue. So the data from this header can be useful for analytics and logging, etc. But however, some developers attempt to use the value of the header, the value of the refer header as a type of security mechanism for which it was not designed. So they say that if you have this particular HTTP referrer header, that means that you're coming from inside the site, and that means that you're supposed to be there. Okay. Today we're going to be making extensive use of the CURL program, and the curl program CURL is a command line interface CLI app that is common to all major computer operating systems. So everybody in chat, do you know how to open up your terminal? So we've got this terminal right here, the command prompt. So inside of Windows, what you would do is type in the word CMD, and then the word command prompt would appear over here under suggested apps. And then you would open that up. And this is how you open up the command prompt. So using the command prompt, we're going to be using the curl program. If you know how to open up your terminal in your computer, please type in the chat, I have terminal access, smiley face. But if for some reason you're not able to use this, we could try using the JS Linux. So JS Linux. So the problem with JS Linux is that sometimes the internet, when trying to access other pages using the JS Linux, it can be kind of spotty. So, all right. So if you don't have terminal access, go ahead and let us know in the chat, because we'll try to find some alternatives for you. So if for some reason you're not able to open up the terminal in your PC, you could try using the JS Linux over this link right here. So if you're using Windows, then what you would do is you would go down to the search bar, and in the search bar you would type in CMD, and one of the apps that should appear over here is called Command Prompt. And then you would click on Command Prompt, and that would open up the command prompt, which is what we're going to be using to interact with the website. But if for some reason you can't access it, you could try using the JS Linux, which whose link that I put in chat just now. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Once again, if you're having trouble accessing a terminal, please let us know, because we would like to help you. Okay. So this curl program allows for access to web pages from the CLI, but only returns text such as HTML code. So this app allows for the modification of various HTTP variables, which normal web browsers are not capable of unless modified. So there are extensions and plugins for your web browsers that let you modify your HTTP requests, but not everybody has access to the same browsers and the same extensions. So that's why I'm using the curl program over here. Okay, so we're going to be using a curl command to access the Natus 4 website, okay? And you can actually find the curl command inside of here. So inside of the GitHub page, there's Natus level 4, and there is a curl command over here. So under the curl command, we can copy this. So just highlight it, and then copy it, and then over on your terminal, inside your terminal, you can paste in this command. So you can do, oh, okay, so I just did right click and it automatically pasted in the command. Very convenient. But let me explain what this is doing over here. So this command is curl, and then we do -vv for very verbose output. That's going to give us more output than usual. And then because we need to supply the username and the password, we have to use this -u argument right here. So inside of this quote, we have our username and the password separated by a colon. And then lastly, So user AD says, can you do the last step again? Um, can you explain what I was doing when I was doing the last step? Because I don't quite understand which step you want me to illustrate one more time. But the last thing we need to supply is the address of the website that we're trying to access over here. So if we give this command over here, what was the link that you put in? Oh, okay. Let's see. User www says, my terminal won't let me paste. My terminal won't let me paste. Okay. User www, I think, so there are two different ways to paste. You can do the right click and then paste, and you can also use a keyboard shortcut. So the keyboard shortcut should be Control Shift V to paste. But okay, user www says he tried both ways, but it won't paste. That's a problem. So why don't we try using JS Linux? Because you can paste into JS Linux using the right click. So let me see if this works. So sometimes JS Linux doesn't want to give you internet access, but sometimes it does. So in this case, it does. So let's give it a try. So why don't you try using the JS Linux, and I will give. Oh, so user www, are you able to paste now into your terminal? Okay. User AD. So you're talking about which link we are using. So over at this page, the GitHub page, over at the GitHub page over here, we've got Natas level 4. So if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see Natas level 4, and then you'll see this curl command right here. What I want you to do is I want you to highlight this one. So Natas level 4 curl command, highlight the command, and then copy it. And then inside of your terminal over here, I want you to paste it into the terminal. So it looks like, depending on which version of Windows you're using, you might be able to just right click and then it's going to paste in the command right there. So after you paste in the command, you hit enter, and that's going to access the page. So over here, you're going to see all of these headers over here. So these are the request headers. So you've got your host and your IP address, and let's see, you got your host and then your authorization, which is basically, this is your username and password that has been transformed using base64. And then user HD says that they don't see level 4. When you say you don't see level 4, does that mean that you can't access it by... So let me give you the link to Natas level 4. Okay, so like I said, so the problem with using basic authorization, which is the type of login that the Natas page uses, is that it sends all of the information in a very easy to decode way. So if someone were to be able to capture this this string right here, this base64 string, you could very easily. So let's just highlight this one more time. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go to some website like base64 decode. And then I could just paste this base64 string right here. And if I were to decode it, you would see that you got your username and your password right here. So this is why modern websites don't use this kind of login function, because it's not very secure. But anyways, user AD says, it said it could not resolve host, closing connection, Could not resolve host. User AD, are you using your own terminal on your computer, or are you using the JS Linux? If you could tell me that. Oh, JS Linux. Okay. So sometimes JS Linux has internet connectivity and sometimes it doesn't. What I would do is I would wait about a minute and then I would try one more time to see if it works. So it seems to be working for me. So whether or not it works so this is not the best solution. If you can open up a terminal on your own computer, then that would probably be the better way to do it. But if you can't, we're going to be doing some exercises with picoctf, and you can use the picoctf web shell to do those. But the picoctf web shell doesn't have access to the natasctf web page. But where were we? Okay. So what we can do with curl is we can modify the request. So we were talking about the HTTP referrer header, and as you can see on the Natas4 webpage, authorized users should come only from this URL right here. So what we can do is we can use curl to modify our HTTP referrer header to gain access to the page. So if you go over to the GitHub, there's also under the curl command, there's this other command right here, which is called the solution command. So this is the command that's going to give us access to the page. So you can highlight this and then copy it. Okay. So user AD, if it's not working, we'll try to help you out after the session is over. But I think you can join back in the next level. Okay. All right. So let's see. So we can go back to our terminal over here, and we can paste in the solution command. So the difference between this command and the previous command is that is right here. So we've provided a header inside of the curl command, which is this one right here. So this is refer is natas5.labs.over-the-wire.org. So basically, we're saying that we're giving this extra information to the server, and it's going to give us a different result when we send this header over here. Okay, so let's try running this. So you can see up here that we supplied a header, so this refer header inside of a request, and then in the body of the response, it says access granted. The password for Natas5 is this password right here. So that means we have access to the next level because we have the password. Okay, so let's try logging into the next level using this password. So you can just highlight it and copy it, and then go over to the web page, modify the address so that it says Natas5 instead of Natas4. And the username is going to be Natas5, and the password, we're going to paste it in, and then click on sign in. Okay? So here it says access disallowed, you are not logged in. All right, so does anybody have an idea what the problem might be here? It says we're not logged in. If you have a guess, go ahead and put it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be talking about what's going on in just a few moments. And to anybody who needs the link for Natas Level 5, I'll just put it in the chat for everybody. Okay, so it says access disallowed, you are not logged in. So what we're talking about in this level is the HTTP cookie header. So another extremely common HTTP header is the cookie header, which is used to retain user settings or maintain a user session on a website. So basically, HTTP cookies are what allows you to log into websites, and they allow you to keep the same information while you're browsing around different websites. Okay? For example, a website has a button on its user preferences page which sets the web page background color for the website. So this is an example of what we could use a cookie for. Once the color is selected, the web server will send a cookie to the web browser to be used anytime the website is visited, changing the website's background colors to whatever is specified in the cookie. So you could put user preferences in cookies, and the cookies will help you maintain your user preferences while you're using the website. So similarly, when a user successfully logs into a website, the web server will send the web browser a cookie which identifies which user session is being used, and the browser will use that cookie each time that website is accessed. Any cookie that is used for user sessions has the potential for security abuse, so it's important that the cookie values created for user sessions are not predictable at all. So the problem with cookies happens when the value of a valid cookie versus a non-valid cookie can be easily guessed. And we're going to be taking a look at that in just a second. So let's go back. Okay, so this is not as level 5. It says access disallowed. You are not logged in. Does anybody know how to access cookies inside of your web browser? If you know, let us know. Otherwise, we'll be demonstrating it in just a second. Okay, user LC says inspect element. Yeah, you can inspect element and get to your cookies, but I'll show you one more way. So inside of your browser, you usually have a button in the corner. So inside of my Chrome browser, I've got this button right here, which is three dots. What you can do is you can just click on that, and it'll open up this menu over here. And inside this menu, there might be an option called More Tools or Developer Tools. You just need to click on that, and you can access the developer tools by clicking on this button right here. So there's a keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-I. There are different keyboard shortcuts depending on which browser you're using. If you're not able to access the developer tools inside of your browser, please let us know what browser you're using, and we'll try to look up which keyboard shortcut you could use to access them, okay? All right, so after you click on that, the developer tools, there's a bunch of different tabs up here. So there's one called Elements, Console, Sources, Network, etc., etc. But one of them says Application. So you can click on the Application tab, and then in the sidebar, you're going to see under Storage, there's going to be something called Cookies. So there are cookies for different websites. So we're going to click on this one that's for the Natas website. So Natas 5. And I don't know if you can see this very well. Okay, user AD says, mine doesn't say that. Oh, okay. User AD, can you tell me which browser you're using? Which browser program you're using? And I'll try to help you locate the cookies. But once you're able to see the cookies, so storage cookies, and then the Natas website, you're going to see that there's the name of the cookie in one column and then the value of the cookie in another column. So we've got this logged in cookie and the value is set to 0. So does anybody know what a valid cookie might be? So this value over here, it says we're not logged in and the value is 0. What do you think the valid logged in value could be if it's currently set to 0? User ID says you're using the same browser as mine. Okay. What I want you to try is I want you to try using the Shift. Let me look it up really quick. Chrome browser developer tools shortcut. Okay. So you can, if you're using Mac, you can do Command Option I, but if you're using Windows, you can use F12, the F12 button, or Control Shift I. So it's either F12. If you're on Mac, it's Command Option I, or if you're on Windows, it could be Control Shift I. So let's see. User ID says I clicked it and doesn't show what you have. Okay. Let me demonstrate one more thing. So over here, there are a bunch of different tabs on the top. What I want you to do is I want you to find the one tab called Application. So you're supposed to be in the Application tab, and after you're in the Application tab, then you'll see the storage in this little menu over here, okay? So let me know if you're able to locate the Application tab. But anyways, so logged in over here is currently set to 0 and we're not logged in. So this is a very common toggle inside of programming. So 0 equals false and 1 equals true. So in order to access the page and for us to be logged in equals true, we have to set the value from 0 to 1. So we modify this. So logged in equals 1. Press enter to confirm. And then what we can do is reload the page. So just hit the reload button. If you can't find the reload button in your browser, you can always hit the F5 key on your keyboard to reload the page. And then after we do that, we see it says access granted. The password for NATA 6 is this right here. Okay? So everybody, if you were able to modify your cookie inside your browser and then get access to the page, please type I modded the cookie. Smiley face. So one more time, if you're using your browser and you're unable to find the menu that lets you modify your cookies, so inside of so I'm using the Chrome browser right now, so Google Chrome. What you can do is you can either hit the F12 keyboard shortcut, so you just hit F12 on your keyboard, and that's going to open up the developer tools. So inside the developer tools, you need to click on the application tab at the top, or so it's at the top for me. It might be in a different location for you, depending on what device you're using. But you want to click on the application tab. Sometimes you won't see the application tab, but there's going to be an arrow. So you need to click on the arrow, and it's going to let you select which tab to access. So we want the application tab. So inside the application tab, there's going to be a side menu over here with storage. And in the storage, you're going to see cookies. You click on the Natus 5 website, and then you can modify the logged in cookie over here. So initially it's set to 0, but we can set it to 1 to allow us to log in. Okay? So if you're having troubles, let us know exactly what you're having troubles with, and we'll try to assist you. But there's another way we can do this. So we can actually do this with the curl command as well. So if we go back to our GitHub, so we've got in the GitHub, we've got Natus level 5, and we've got our curl command for accessing the website, which is over here. Okay, so user AD says, I found the application. So you found the application tab, that's great. So let's demonstrate. So inside of the application tab, you're going to see a side menu. And in the side menu, there's application, there's storage, there's background services. We're looking for storage. And in storage, there is going to be a tab called cookies. So just click into that. And then afterwards, you're going to see this Natus 5 over here. So this is the name of the website. After that, you're going to see the name of the cookies. So this logged in cookie, you just need to click into the value over here. Initially, it's set to 0. Set it to 1, press enter. And then afterwards, you can reload the page, and you should have access to the page after you modify the cookie. So we'll also talk about how to solve this level with curl. So inside your terminal over here, so user AD says, I click on cookie, but nothing happens. So let's do a little demonstration. Where are we? We're here. Okay. So let's say that so application, then cookies, you're going to see the word cookies over here. And if you're on the Natus 5 page, and the Natus 5 page says no access allowed, what you do is we can double click. So you can double click this, and then you're going to see the Natus 5 website show up over here. So you just click into that, and then you're going to see the cookies for that website. So if you can't see the cookies for the website, then I'll try to help you out after the session is done, okay? But let's demonstrate how to do this. Oh, okay. So user AD's got it now. That's great. That's great. We like to hear that. So, okay. On the GitHub page, there's this curl command. So Natus 5, Natus level 5, there's the curl command right here. Let's copy this command. So we're going to copy this command, and then we're going to go to our terminal, and then we're going to, let me clear this. So we're going to paste in the command that this is going to give us access to Natus level 5. Let's see what we see when we try to access the page. So this is what we send to the Natus 5 page, and this is the response. So the response is HTTP 200 OK. It also does set cookie, and we see that it inside of set cookie, the name of the cookie is logged in equals 0. So this is how the server gives us the cookie to use in other requests. Okay. User AD says it's said to select a cookie to preview its value. Select a cookie to preview its value. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to preview the logged in cookie. If you can see the logged in cookie, click on it, and it should say that the value of the cookie is 0. I want you to click into the value, which is 0, and change it from 0 to 1, and then press enter. And then after you do that, you should be able to reload your web page, and you should be logged in after that. So this is where the server gives us our cookie, logged in equals 0, but we can actually supply our own cookie when we use our curl command. So to do that, we can go back to the GitHub over here, and in the GitHub, there's this command right here called solution command. So highlight the entire command over here and then copy it. Then go back to your terminal. Okay. So the difference between this command and the last command is that we're setting a cookie. So with this part right here, -- cookie, and then we're setting it to logged in equals 1. and then we can send this along with our curl command. And user AD says, I'm trying, but it's not working. Okay. Uh, let's talk after the session is over, and we'll try to solve the issue together, okay? Okay, so if we send this logged in cookie equals 1, then we see that inside of here it says access granted. The password for now 6 is this. All right. So let's do a little bit more with some PicoCTF exercises, okay? So before we do that, I'm going to teach you about just one more concept about web pages before we move on to the PicoCTF exercises. So I'm going to talk about HTTP methods. So all HTTP requests are made with an HTTP method, which is sometimes called an HTTP verb. Web pages send the browser different content depending on which HTTP method is used. The most common HTTP methods are the get and post methods. So get is used to get content from a web page, and post is used to send information to the web page. So we have a bunch of different HTTP methods over here. So there's get, and there's post, and there's put, delete, patch, head. There's a lot of them over here. But one of them I'm going to highlight for our exercises is this one right here, the head method. So the head method is basically we're communicating with a website, but it's only going to give us the headers for the web page. And this is done to do some testing. It's basically going to check whether or not we can access the web page. And this is the HTTP head method, okay? So let's go and solve some PicoCTF challenges. Okay, so what are we doing first? So today we're going to start with the cookies challenge. So everybody, this is the cookies challenge. I'm going to link it to everybody in chat. And let's go over to the PicoCTF page. So this is the cookies challenge. And it says, who doesn't love cookies? Try to figure out the best one. And we've got this web page over here. So everybody, what I want you to do is I want you to access the web page. So just right click and then click open link in new tab. So put the link in a new tab and access the website. So over here it says cookies. Welcome to my cookie search page. See how much I like different kinds of cookies. So everybody, if you manage to access this page, please type in the chat, I'm looking at the cookies, smiley face. If you need a little bit of time to log into your PicoCTF, let us know. Okay. All right. So over here it says cookies. Welcome to my cookie search page. See how much I like different kinds of cookies. So so we can search for all sorts of cookies. Maybe we can search for oatmeal cookies and click on search. And it says that's not a valid cookie. What do you mean? How about chocolate chip? Okay. And then it says that is a cookie, not very special though, and it says I love chocolate chip cookies. All right. So everybody, do you know what the cookie value is for this particular challenge? This challenge we can solve it very similarly to the previous Natus challenge. So inside of your browser, you can click on the menu, go to More Tools, and then go to Developer Tools. And under the application tab, you should be able to see the website, which is mercury.picoctf something something. Okay, so there's so this cookie in this case is called name, and the value is equal to 1. So anytime we see, so we saw 1 and we saw 0 in the last page. So we could set this to 0 and then try reloading the page. And it didn't, it says, I love snickerdoodle cookies. So each one of these numbers is associated with a different cookie. So maybe we're not dealing with true and false. Maybe we're dealing with just a number that is associated with the cookie. So maybe we could try 3. So we can set the value to 3 and then reload the page again. And then it says, I love ginger snap cookies. So basically each one of these numbers is going to be associated with a different cookie when you reload the page. So I think there are a bunch of different, so what you could do to solve this challenge is basically keep on playing around with different cookies. So I love Lebkuchen cookies. I don't know what kind of cookie this is, but if somebody can tell me what which cookie, so go ahead and try playing around with the values of the cookies. If you're able to find the cookie that gives you the flag, let us know in the chat. Otherwise, I'll tell you in just a few moments. Okay. I see somebody in the YouTube chat that says, "Will join for you." Well, thank you and welcome, YouTube chatter. Nice to see you here. So the actual value that we're looking for. So you can. It takes a while to play around with these different cookie values, but the value we're actually looking for is the number 18. So if we put in the value 18 and then reload the page, then we're going to get the flag. So the flag is this one right here. So everybody go ahead and set your cookie value to 18 and then reload the page. And then you should see, okay. So I see that the users are submitting their flags, but this portion right here is randomized. So you can't use my cookie. Sorry, you can't use my flag because the flag value is randomized for each user. So go ahead and copy your own flag value and then go over to picoctf, paste in the flag, and click on Submit Flag. And then you're going to finish the challenge. Okay, so everybody, if you managed to finish that challenge, please type in the chat Cookie Monster, smiley face. Okay, so let's do another challenge let's do another challenge. This one is called Pico Browser. So let's try this one out. All right, we've got some people finishing the challenge. Good to see. Okay, user HD says they're not Cookie Monster. Well, if you're having trouble with the challenge, we can help you out with that. Okay, so this is the Pico Browser challenge. Let's take a look. All right, so it says here Pico Browser. The description says this website can be rendered only by Pico Browser. Go and catch the flag. And then they've got a link that goes to the website. Let's right click and put this in a new tab. Okay, so on this website, they've got this button called flag. So that looks very tempting. If we click on it, it says, you're not Pico Browser. And then it gives us the name of the browser we're using. So what does this mean? Does anybody know what what could be wrong with our request that we're not able to see this this page. So it tells us that we're using this browser right here, but it wants us to be using Pico browser. So let's try asking ChatGPT. So like I said, like I've mentioned before, ChatGPT is a very good resource for learning about cybersecurity. And if you were to ask, user AD says, what is the cookie website? Oh, the cookie website. That is this challenge right here. Let me copy that and provide it to everybody right there. If you're looking for the actual website, then you're going to have to click into the challenge, and then the website link will be inside the challenge description. But we're looking at this page right here, the Pico browser challenge. So we could ask, so this is the error message right here. You're not Pico browser, and we could try copying this, and then over at ChatGPT we could ask, I'm trying to access a website, but it gives me this error message, and then we can paste in the error message, and we'll see what ChatGPT has to say about this. Okay, so ChatGPT says the error message you're seeing suggests that the website is blocking access based on the user agent string, which is part of the HTTP request headers. So it actually gives us the solution right here. So we use curl with the -a command, and then it gives us, and then we supply Pico browser to the website. So we're going to use curl, and then we're going to say that we're using Pico browser by using this this command right here. Okay, so let's try doing that. So actually, over at the challenge over here, so there's the Pico browser section in the GitHub, and then there's the URL, and then there's the solution command over here. So this curl command right here is going to let us see the flag. So we can copy it. So just highlight it and copy it. So user AD says, how do I get to the other website, the cookies website? Okay, I'll give you the link in just a second. So what we need to do to use this command is we need to log into our web shell. So if you don't know how to log into your web shell, let me demonstrate. So you need to click on this button right here, web shell. And then after it opens up, you need to put it in its own browser tab with this button right here. So just click on that. And then you can put in your PicoCTF username. This is my username. Please use your own. And let me grab my password. Okay, so I'm going to paste in my password and log in. Okay, so to user AD, let me grab that link right now. So this was called cookies. So this is the challenge, and this is the website right here. So let me copy this and provide it to everybody in chat, but especially to user AD who requested it. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our Pico browser challenge, which is this one right here. Okay, so this is the Pico browser challenge. We're now logged into our web shell, and on the GitHub, we've got our solution command, which is a curl command. So let's copy that, And then on the web shell, we're going to paste in the command. But before we send off this command, let me explain what's going on. So this is a curl command, and we're doing it with very verbose output, -vv, but we're also supplying a user agent, which is a browser type. So -A, this page wants Pico browser, this browser. So we're going to do -A Pico browser, and then the website over here. So the website we're looking for is this one that is at the flag directory. So all we need to do is send off the command, and then inside of the response over here, actually, so where are we? So inside of our request, we have this HTTP request header over here, user agent, which is the type of browser. And now it says Pico browser. So now when we get the information from the page, we get this code right here, this flag rather. So this is the flag. It's located, it's a bit hard to see, but near the end of the page, you're going to see Pico CTF, and then it says Pico secret agent or something like that. Highlight the flag and then copy it, and then go to the challenge page, paste in the flag, click on submit flag, and then you're finished. Okay, so we're gonna do one more quick challenge before we finish out today's session, okay? And this is another cookies one. So this next challenge is called log on. Okay, so let me provide the link to everybody. Okay, so this is the log on challenge. It says the factory is hiding things from its users. Can you log in as Joe and find what they've been looking at? And then we get the link to the website over here. So what I want you to do is right click and put this in a new tab. And then we come on this web page over here. Okay, so everybody, if you are able to get the flag before I demonstrate to everybody how to get the flag, please let us know in the chat. If you want to race me to get the flag for this challenge, go ahead and try. And if you can, then that's great. Okay, so everybody, if you manage to get access to this page, please type in the chat, log on challenge, smiley face. Okay, so let's try logging into this web page over here. So in the challenge it says login as Joe. Okay, so over on the web page we could try logging in as Joe, and then we could try putting in a password because we don't know Joe's password. We click on sign in, and then we cannot sign in. It says, I'm sorry, Joe's password is super secure. You're not getting in that way. So we can't log in as Joe. So does anybody know what we could try? So if you have a suggestion for what we could try to solve the challenge, go ahead and type in chat, and let's try to solve this together. So we could try looking at the cookies. Okay, let's try looking at the cookies. So we can go over to, where was it? More tools, developer tools. So we don't have anything that, so none of these cookie values look like anything that we could predict. So that's not a solution right there. So what we need to do first is we need to try logging into the website. So it said to log in as Joe, but nothing says that we can't log in as some other user. So if we log in as Joe, we don't know Joe's password, but could we try logging in as another user? So the instructions say log in as Joe, but sometimes solving the challenge means that we don't follow the instructions. So we could try logging in as admin, and then we don't know the password. We can try to guess at a password. It could be anything, and then click on sign in. So the problem with this web page is that it only checks the password if we're trying to log in as Joe, but we're able to log in when we tried to log in as admin. So I guess that's the problem with this. So it says no flag for me. So no flag for me, but why? Why don't we take a look at the cookies? So everybody take a look at the cookies. So we could use a keyboard shortcut, maybe F12. And then we're going to see that we have got some new cookies over here. All right. So we've got some new cookies. There's one called admin, and it's set to false. So what could we do to change this to give us access to the page? So admin equals false. We also have a password and a username cookie, and we could change these as well. We could actually make ourselves Joe right now. So they want us to log in as Joe. We can change the cookie to Joe. So we're admin equals false. Well, if admin is equal to false, maybe we could change admin equals true. So we could set admin to true. We could set our username to Joe. We can even change our own password. Maybe we'll change our password to HackerFrogs. So the thing about cookies is that because users can modify cookies, you have to make it so that that valid cookies or security cookies are not something that you can guess. So after we've done our modifications here, we can reload the page, and then we get the flag. So we've got the flag. It says Pico CTF, the conspiracy lives. All right, so let's copy the flag and solve the challenge. So over at the challenge over here, we can paste in the flag and submit the flag. Okay, we solved the challenge. Yay! Okay, so everybody, before we end today's session, I want to remind everybody one more time of a couple of things. So we're going to be using this website next week to do some education. It's https tryhackme.com. So I'll just leave this link in the chat. I want people to have an account over on the website because we're going to be using it to learn about some other web app hacking stuff. The other announcement is that the class on Monday is we're not going to do a class on Monday because it's Labor Day. So Labor Day is September 2nd, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to have a session on that day because it's a holiday. So we're going to be doing that session on Tuesday, September 3rd instead, okay? Just so everybody knows. Okay, so before we finish out today, there's one challenge we didn't get to today, and that is the get ahead challenge. So if you want to give yourself a challenge, you could do the get ahead challenge. And as if you really want to test yourself, you can do the who are you challenge. So these are both kind of difficult challenges. If you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and try these before the next session, okay? And they're both at the very end of the GitHub document. But before we finish today's session, let's do a quick review. Let's review the web exploitation concepts we learned in today's workshop. So we talked about HTTP headers, specifically the refer header. It contains the value of a complete or partial address of the web page that is making the request. It is often used for analytics or logging. And we took a look at HTTP cookies. HTTP cookies are commonly used as a security mechanism that allows users to maintain an authenticated user session on the website. So in short, HTTP cookies allow users to log in to websites. But since cookie values can be modified by the user, proper care should be taken to ensure that valid cookie values are not predictable or easily guessed. Okay, so in the next HackerFrogs After School Web App Hacking Workshop, we're going to continue. We're not going to conclude. We're going to continue our time learning web app hacking with the NATAS CTF. Okay, so everybody, if you have any questions or if you need any help with any of the concepts that we did today, go ahead and stick around after the session is over. But at this point, if you don't have any questions and if you don't have any other business that you want to talk about after the session is over, go ahead and user AO says, do we have a session on? No, we're going to skip the session for Labor Day. So Labor Day is September 2nd, and that's a Monday. We're going to skip that one, and we're going to do a makeup session on the next day. So we're going to do Tuesday, September 3rd, instead of Monday, September 2nd. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to stop.